The guitarist that Trevor Rabin says is really the king. Before we go into it, this guitarist comes up an awful lot in interviews that I do. I probably have about 40 people talking about this particular dude who died in September of 1987. I remember hearing about it when I was on the air. Trevor Rabin on Rock History Music.
By the way, you'd mentioned that and I agree with you, Jaco Pastorius, when you consider, I've always thought as far as a guy who picks up a guitar, it's a bass in his case. I don't know why more people don't know him. Everyone knows Hendrix, and of course Hendrix played six string, but Jaco was, I think, in a league of his own.
Well, I mean, a lot of people call him the Hendrix of bass, but I mean, technically he was just miles ahead of anyone else. Jaco was so before his time, years ahead of anyone else.
I know you like Mark Farner. Talked to Mark maybe 8 times in interviews, and Mark used to write, in the kitchen. He'd always write in the kitchen because he liked the acoustics in the kitchen.
Funny thing is, I was with a teeny bopper band in South Africa when I was a youngster, and I remember we used to play Inside Looking Out, directly from the live version of Grand Funk Railroad.
Alan White.
Yes.
I had a chance to talk to him before we lost him. Did you ask Alan about Beatles, John Lennon, any stories when you got together with him?
Not a lot. I told him that I said, what was John like? Because we were working at Paul's studio in corner Regent in Oxford, and Paul had come into the studio at like 2 a.m. I'd never seen him or met him. And he just kind of stumbled in and said, well, here you need some drum machines. So I was like, is that Paul? And Chris leaned over and said, oh, yeah, thanks, Paul. And next thing, there's this big thing of drum machines that come in, or drum things. And then the next day, I happened to be at the commissary, and Paul had recognized me from the night before, and nice to meet you and all that stuff. And he sat down and had coffee with me. So I said to Alan, he seems like such a nice guy. What was John like? And Alan never had a bad word about anyone. He said, oh, it was just magic. John was magic. But Jeff Emmerich, who I worked with, said John could be pretty difficult and pretty cutting.
We talk about Vinny, who, of course, one of my favorite drummers, but Lou Molino, I know he played with you when you got together with Rick and John, and that guy's one of my favorite drummers.
Oh, Lou is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, Lou played with me on the 2 previous albums. One was an instrumental album called Jacaranda, and then an album, Can't Look Away. He played on both of those and did a magnificent job on both, and it was, for me, just a complete obvious choice to have Lou in the band with Rick and John and myself. Couldn't miss a beat.
I just talked to Malcolm Bruce, Jack's son, a few days ago.
Wow!
And he's doing the Cream, sort of a Cream remake album. It's really, really good. I'm surprised.
I never met him. What does he play?
He's a bass player,
like his dad.
Yeah. Trevor Rabin's brand new album is called Rio. He hasn't released a vocal album in a gazillion years, but he put a lot of work into this, a lot of great guitars. First, we talked to Trevor on the phone, and then the promotions company said, let's give him another interview. They liked our work, so we got a chance to talk to Trevor on video. And that was just sensational. But he's really proud of this, and he really should be, because there's not a bad track on it, first of all. He gets a little political sometimes, talking about the state of the world, but I highly recommend Rio. Again, links in the description if you want to pick it up. Make sure you comment on our videos. We read all the comments. Share our videos on social media. Subscribe to our channel and like our videos as well. Remember, you can make a donation to our channel. At the very top of the description, there's a PayPal link where you can make a donation, or join our Patreon where you get early access to all our videos. I'm John Bowden. This is Rock History Music. Take good care of yourself.